let's play with clay together, guys, and see how I made this into this. So let's just get right into it and get some clay out. I'm going to start by making the pizza shape. So here I'm just trying to flatten this shape as much as possible to make the pizza. It's basically the shape of like a classic trinket dish, just like a little flat plate with edges for the crust. I like to keep the clay on some parchment paper or like cookie sheet paper so it doesn't get stuck to the mat that I'm using. And if you ever get an air bubble, you can just easily smooth it out. Now that I formed a nice shape, I'm just going to roll it out one more time to smooth out any rough edges, and also using my fingers to smooth that out, and then we're going to get started on the crust. For this, all you need to do is grab another piece of clay and just roll it out as long as you can, so it can go all around the little dish, I guess, just the pizza shape. Once you think you got a nice length, you can get the dish back and place the long string on top of it and just kind of smooth it out a tiny bit so you can easily peel it up, and just go all around and take any extra pieces off. We need to smooth out the crust to the pizza, and I like to dip a tool into water so I can easily move the clay better now that it's wet. Then I'm just kind of smoothing these two edges out and then kind of flipping the crust down so that it looks round and, you know, like a pizza crust. And for texture on the bottom of the pizza, I just got a sponge and dipped it in a bit of water and just tried to smooth any more edges out or smooth any bit of roughness and just kind of move it around a bit to add some texture. And then I used that tool again to smooth the crust to like the cheese part of the pizza. And none of this has to be perfect, okay? It can look like a handmade pizza, it could look like a frozen pizza, it could look like whatever kind of pizza you want. You can even try to make a deep dish. What we usually see in like pies of pizza are these like bubbles in the dough. So I decided to add that, just like kind of like little raised bubbles, just like put some extra clay on top and blend that out just for some extra little detail, and so it's not just like super flat and a little bit more realistic. After a bit of touching up with my fingers, I was happy with the shape, and we're going to move on to the toppings. Now, of course, you can personalize this however way you want. This is going to be a supreme pizza with 6 toppings, which are pepperoni, bell peppers, olives, sausage, onion, and mushrooms. I'm starting with pepperoni, and I'm making multiples of each topping so that way I have a variety to decorate the pizza with. So for the pepperoni, I just got a small piece of clay, flatten it out with my finger and my thumb, so it's just like a little flat circle. It's pretty easy to make, so I'm just going to skip ahead until I have a bunch of them. I made about 12 little slices of pepperoni, and now I'm going to get on to making little mushrooms. Now, I made everything from memory. I never looked at a picture of pizza at all for some reason. I'm not sure why, because I kind of had to remember what like little sliced mushrooms on a pizza would look like, so it's a little hard to describe. But I just got another small piece of clay and flattened it, and then kind of pinched the sides and tried to make like a little stem out of it, and so it kind of looks like a little mushroom, I think. So I made 6 of those since I already had a lot of pepperonis. I didn't want to make 12 little mushrooms. And now I'm gonna get on to making little sausage balls. These were so much more fun to make out of everything for some reason, because it's just a little rolled up ball and just kind of pinched everywhere, or kind of poked the clay a bit so it doesn't just look like a ball, kind of just looks like, I tried to make it look like it was like rolled meat, like a little sausage ball, but not like a meatball, if you get what I'm saying. If you've gotten sausage on a pizza before, they're just like little like weird balls. And since they were really small, I think I made about 10 of those, if I remember. So I just kind of kept pinching the edges of that piece of clay there, and just kind of tried to make like a diced onion shape. It was a little difficult. So I just tried to make a few little like kind of square-ish pieces and some long pieces. I couldn't really figure it out. But now on to the olives, which also took me a while to figure out, because I was like, how am I gonna get a hole? So I just took these little balls and used this pointy tool and just kind of shoved it through, and just kind of, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like a little donut or like a little Cheerio. So I was like, yeah. Then I figured that out, and so I went through making those pretty quickly, and then on to the bell peppers, which also took a bit to figure out, because I was like, I could do it like how I did the onions, but I don't know, I wanted to do like slices, but it was a risk for, you know, for them to break, so I just did like weird little like long pieces of pepper, but like small, and just kind of like pinched them in half, so there was a variety of sizes and shapes. These all look super weird, but once they're painted, you can kind of tell what's what. You can obviously tell what's a pepperoni and a mushroom, but we're all done with the clay, and now I'm gonna set them aside for a few days to dry. And now they're dry, they've turned white, which usually happens with this kind of clay, and I think it turned out really cool. I like the textures, and I like how it looks like kind of homemade, like a homemade pizza, I mean. So I'm gonna start on painting the pizza. So I'm just gonna try to get like a beige, like tan, like a dough color, with like some skin tone colors, and I lighten them up a bit because they're just a little too dark. Then I went all around on the crust, and I didn't do the entire pizza because, you know, I kind of made it like as if I was making a pizza, like, oh, I needed to get the tomato sauce all around, and then before I finished that tomato sauce, I added the cheese on top. Now, this was a moment where I thought, oh no, I ruined it, but trust the process. So you saw that I quickly just like went around kind of like stabbing the clay there with like this brownish black color, and then I used a wet paintbrush and just kind of, before it quickly dried, just kind of moved it all around, kind of like a paint wash, and I did that all around the edges and just like the entire crust area, so the crust and the bottom of the pizza, like it was, I just did that a bunch of times, and I tried to make it look like it was fired in an oven, which I think I did a pretty good job at achieving. It looks really weird, but just trust the process, because it eventually looked like a pizza. And here, of course, is the tomato sauce, just a little like dark red color, and I just did all the edges a bit, and yeah, pretty simple. And before I filled that in, I decided to go over with like a cheese color, which is really dark on camera for some reason. It does not look this yellow. I tried to make it a bit more orangey. I did this before the tomato sauce color dried, and I thought that made it look a little more realistic, because you can like see the tomato sauce under the cheese like a real pizza. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I tried to make this look as realistic as possible because I was having so much fun making a pizza, and so I just did like little green specks and like little like different colors as if it was like a seasoned pizza. And like I said, I lightened this up more because it was just too like bright cheddar color, and I didn't want that So I tried to make it a little more white, like a mozzarella color, I don't know. So that's how it's looking so far. And now you can enjoy a nice little painting break for all of the toppings, just some quick moments of painting each top. There we have it. These are all the toppings and everything dried, and the pizza is looking so cool. And I'm just gonna rearrange all these toppings to make it look like a little supreme pizza. This part was a lot of fun because it was just like really interactive, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to glue these down, but I kind of like the idea of having it interactive so you can kind of rearrange whatever toppings you want. But so here's how it would look as a supreme pizza, and since I'm not gluing them down, I want to put them in this little container so I don't lose all these tiny little pieces and break them. And then I got to glazing the pizza. I decided not to glaze each topping because that would just I don't know, I kind of didn't feel like it, to be honest, and they're just like too small, and I don't know, whatever. You can glaze the toppings if you want, but I decided not to because I didn't feel like it. And here's the reveal of the glazed pizza. Looking super cheesy and adorable and delicious. I mean, I think it looks delicious. And just made a little face with some of the toppings. I had so much fun making this. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Check out my other sculpting videos because I have a few. And yeah, I will just see you next time. Bye!